But it's too late now.
Hey gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa. Hello everyone and welcome back to the stream. Or welcome back to the channel if you're new here. If you have not read the title of today's stream, I'm going to be doing a few sketches for a decision wheel. I will show you the few that I have. Give me a second. So the one that I'm currently doing right now, which is the two sides of my character. And then, of course, I did Tomie. Of course, it is also my character as Tomie. And then another one. They're just pretty much going to be all of my OC only. Because I really don't come up with other words. I probably will during this whole speed paint. Or not speed paint, but this whole drawing, sketching thing. But yeah. And so, of course, on the wheel, they will have different numbers. I guess my wheel wasn't added. Okay. Well, I'll just show you from scratch then, I guess, guys. Sorry about that. My fucking wheel was not saved for some stupid reason. I have no idea. So if you want to follow me, now just follow me. Well, now I figured out how to change the fucking colors. Do you want to follow me, now just follow me. So as I was saying, all of them are gonna have different categories. So for instance, a dark red is gonna be bloody. And then for the next one, number 2 is body horror. So we're gonna make that like, please ignore my stomach. If you do hear it, I'm sorry. We'll make it like a dull purple. I guess that'll work. We'll make that a dull purple for body horror. So, number 2 is body horror. The next one is going to be emotional, so that's going to be like a light lavender. So number 3 is a light lavender. So those are the 3 categories for right now. So first we got bloody, body horror, and emotional. Sorry for the first half of this whole stream. It's just me fucking figuring the fuck out what the fuck was going on or whatever. I apologize for that. I swear to God if this shit doesn't save. Oh, that's right. I didn't even put a title. Good job, genius. Apologies for that. Okay, there we go. Now it's saved. I really hate ads like that. It annoys me. Anyways, back to the piece that I was telling you guys about. This is gonna be number 3. And of course, like I said, this is an emotional piece. So, the emotional pieces will be in lavender. You know what? I just realized I should do this in color coordination, huh? Oh, I actually kind of did already. Oops. Didn't realize that. Okay, well. Let's go back here. Let's edit the wheel. So we'll just make body horror a bright red. There we go. Anyways, getting back to the drawing now. I want to say I do apologize if this drawing does... If any of the drawings are going to be portrayed here on screen are going to be something difficult for anyone to handle or to watch being drawn. Like I said, there will be... well, I don't know if I've said this, but there will be emotional, bloody, and... Please ignore that. My neighborhood is very rowdy. But there will be emotional, dark, and bloody pieces. Such as this one, there will be emotional ones, there will be dark ones, there will be bloody ones, etc. There will be a lot of them that are not very... something that will make people comfortable. Apologies, I stuttered there. But if you do not want to see that in a drawing form, then I do recommend you just do not watch this stream at all and enjoy one of my other streams or watch another person's streams, because honestly my streams are not very interesting, but I mean, whatever. So yeah, just please watch someone else's stream if you feel bothered by any of the content that is being portrayed at the moment, and I will completely understand. Again, please ignore any fucking noises that are going on outside my window, because they're pretty fucking annoying and rowdy, and I can't stop anything of them. I'm sorry. But for anyone that is curious of what's going on in the two pieces, in these two pieces, if you... Well, you could call it a singular piece, you could call it one piece, but... one piece. Joke right there. I mean, take that as however you will. These pieces are supposed to represent two sides of my character, as well as myself. Take character however you will, as in like myself or my self-insert, etc. But this is how I normally see two sides of myself. There's always going to be the nicer side, the more caring side that prefers to stay quiet and doesn't like to be shown off a lot. And is also very sad a lot of the time, or depressed in this case. And then of course there's always the more angered side and more protective side of me that will get pissed off very easily, I will be honest, and people can vouch for me about me being a little pissy and being a little dramatic and shit like that. But yeah, so I made them both red and blue. At first I was just gonna make one side red and the other side purple, but then I realized what are two colors that make purple, red and blue, so I decided to make the two sides both red and blue, and it's very fitting as well, because this is anger. Hold on. Fuck, I can't spell. I'm illiterate, guys. Okay. I can't spell anger. And then that's anger. And that's protection. And that's sadness and care. Like, they're polar opposites from one another. One is considered a crybaby and always seen as like the more emotional side, while the other side is more standoffish and is preferred to stay away from others and prefers to protect. You know, you get the idea. It's just they're polar opposites from one another, but they do care for the other. But yeah. So like for anger, I'm giving them more of a edged, like an, I don't want to say edgy because that's a word that's so overused. More edge, I guess, to it. While for sadness, I'm giving them more like a softer kind of shape.
Take a tour of a place from the comfort of your phone.
So, for instance, my blue side was more naive and more open to being hurt, while my more angered side is less prone to being hurt, and of course, but does lose a lot of friends very easily. I'm not gonna get too deep into that because I'd rather prefer to keep that private, and what my friends had decided in the past were their decisions, and what I decided in the past was also my decision, although it was a very horrible one, and I wish I never did choose that path, but yeah. All I want to do is wish them good fortune, and I wish them the best in their lives, and I'm sure they're doing better off without me in their lives. I'm not gonna get emotional on this stream, I'm sorry guys. But yeah. I was gonna draw a handprint right here. If you see this hand right here, I was gonna draw a handprint. This is not their own hand. This is not their hand. But I was gonna draw a hand mark print. If you don't know what that means, then you can, sorry if any noises are going on. Apologies. But if you do watch my YouTube videos and stuff like that, you will find a video of mine that is that I posted in the past, and it's of private matter. I won't get too deep into it because I'd prefer not to. I prefer not to bring up bad memories of that moment. But yeah, there's that. It was a very emotional time in my life and something that I regret ever going through. It was a dark moment in my past that I will put aside. But I decided that I will put that as a symbolism of that moment in time where I felt very weak and very vulnerable and hurt and just not okay. Um, so, of course, in the past, I would call myself naive. I would call myself gullible and so many much worse words to myself. And I feel disgusted in myself that I ever went through such a moment in my lifetime because I was so naive and stupid and just more words. And I don't want to call myself those words, but whenever it comes to myself, I always destroy and dismantle every piece and part of me that I always hated. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I act. I hate everything about myself. If I will be completely honest here, I hate everything about myself. It's not a good thing, and this is something that I will tell you all. If you dismantle yourself in such a harmful manner, such as the way I'm doing, that is a horrible thing for you to do, and I wish you to never do that on yourself. It's horrible, it's painful, it's agonizing, it will add more harm than good to you and to everyone around you. And mostly just yourself. It will hurt you mostly more than it will hurt anyone else. And I don't want any of you to go through such situations. Yes, a lot of us go through the same battles in a lot of cases, but in most cases we always in most cases we always go through different battles and different things, such as myself. I could be similar to one person because of an incident that has happened to me in the past, but our hobbies are completely different from one another, or our traumas are completely different from one another. Like, for instance, one person could have one person could have trauma of abuse from their parents and such like that, and me, I could have trauma from relationships in the past and broken trust. And those would be completely different from one another, but they would cause so much trauma to one another. That is something that we can't change. That is something that will never change between the both of us. And no, I'm not saying that, oh, my trauma is bigger than yours, or no. Trauma is trauma, and no matter what you say or no matter what extent it is put to, it is still very traumatic to the person, and it is still very harmful to one another. No matter how much you say, oh, well, my trauma is like this, it's so much worse than yours. It really isn't. And, I'm sorry if I said that is the worst way to put it. It's not bad. Of course, it's always horrible. Trauma is horrible. But it is very... But like I said, every trauma is different to one another. For instance, like I said, someone could be abused, while I, on the other hand, could just have been losing trust and stuff like that. Sorry. And I could have lost trust in another person because of because of them cheating, or because of them getting too friendly, etc. And that could be traumatizing for me. Yes, it might not have the whole extent of trauma to someone else. That if someone went through that, they would say, oh, that's not very traumatic. How can you say that's trauma? When in reality, to me, a different person, a different being, still the same human, still a human, can go through so much more emotional pain and turmoil because of that pain that had went through that moment. It might not seem traumatic to another person, but it is still traumatic to me only. It could be traumatic to others too, but to me it is very traumatic to myself because it did cause harm, it did cause me pain, it did cause me to think more about the world, etc. It really does depend on the person and their experiences, and yeah, so just never put another's trauma against your own and say, oh, well, my trauma is worse than yours, because that is very disrespectful, for one. And also, if you ever do that, it is very, very hurtful to another person going through that very same thing. And you could never know that maybe it really was traumatic for them, but to you, it wouldn't have been as traumatic in your eyes. But in their eyes, it was. So please don't ever put someone else's trauma, don't put your own trauma above someone else's, because that is disrespectful, like I said, and also that is just very, very disgusting. In my opinion, I think it is very disgusting, and it is something that I wish I didn't do. Honestly, I believe I have done that in the past, and I won't deny it. But then at the same time, I can't remember. So maybe I had done it, which I'm possibly sure I have done it, or I couldn't have done it, and my memory is just very hazy. In the past, I don't like to remember. So whenever I say that my memory is very foggy, I mean it really is foggy, because I just prefer to push that in the back of my head and never think about it again. And that's a thing that always happens to me a lot. Such as, for instance, the incident that I've been telling you guys about, that I was saying about the hand in this drawing. That's why it's very hard, even for me. Apologies for me ranting, but I just need to kind of get it out. Anyways, good news is I've finally hit 62 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so that is awesome. Thank you. We're on our way. I'm on my way to getting at least 100 subscribers, and that's pretty fucking amazing. That I'm getting closer to getting 100 subscribers, and then possibly sooner or later get 1,000. Of course, I'm kind of going through imposter syndrome at the moment, of just me thinking this isn't really real. I honestly go through that, and I don't really believe that I'm gonna get 100 subscribers or like 1,000, etc. I don't think I will get them, get there, but excuse me, that who knows, maybe I might, and I will still probably continue to go through imposter syndrome, but who cares. Yeah. So yeah, sorry about me going ranting and going all off and shit like that. It's just sometimes I need an outlet, and it's not always the best for me. Yeah.
Looks like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again. She'd rather be burning it all now. I know we will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, but into fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
soon.
Oh, I just wanna feel free, and I just wanna be me. Yeah, I just wanna go so crazy. I just wanna be a freak. Yeah, I just wanna rise to the top. Yeah, I just wanna go reach the peak.